Hello, mighty companions. Today in the Course in Miracles room, we have reached Lesson 23. And Lesson 23 is, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts. So me and Harry are going to read. I'm going to read a paragraph, Harry's going to read a paragraph. It's quite a long lesson, so hang on in there with us whilst we find out exactly what this means. So the idea for today, which is I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts, contains the only way out of fear that will ever succeed. Nothing else will work. Everything else is meaningless. But this way cannot fail. Every thought you have makes up some segment of the world you see. It is with your thoughts, then, that we must work, if your perception of the world is to be changed. Anything there, Harry, for you to add, or do you want to continue on with 2?
So, I mean, I was reading something the other day about being able to project into realities, and when we have these attack thoughts, that, like, it's like projecting into that reality of being, like, vulnerable, of being, like, being able to be used in a negative aspect. And so, like, I believe when it says that these ways cannot fail, and saying nothing else will work, everything else is meaningless, what this page was talking about was that when we project into these realities, that we actually cease to believe that every other option is possible and every other option exists. There's no other option that exists. So in order for us to do that, it literally means we can project into the reality that, like, our thoughts are non-attacking if we cease to believe that every other option doesn't exist, you know. So we don't have to, like...
Our only option is love, our only option is...
Yeah, we literally choose the reality to have no attack thoughts, no thoughts of whatsoever that, you know, are literally, attacking. So...
Okay. And if you read anywhere and you feel this that we made notes on is going to link in, then go into it.
So, if the cause of the world that we see is attack thoughts, then we must learn that these thoughts we do not want. There is no point in lamenting the world, and lamenting is to judge or make rash choices.
Hang on, we got it on here, I kept it.
Oh yeah, did you?
I did. So, read it again, because it's a word we didn't fully understand. I've heard the word lament and lamenting before, but I needed to know what it meant.
So you must learn that these thoughts we do not want. There is no point in lamenting the world.
There is no point in lamenting the world, and the definition of lamenting means, if we exchange that word, express one's deep grief about it. So, where is that sentence? There is no... Careful, where's the word, Harry? Lamenting. Here we are. There is no point in expressing one's deep grief about the world. There is no point in seeing the world as unreasonable, unsatisfactory, or unfair. Lament the world.
Is incapable of change, so there is no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because it is merely an effect of our perception, an effect of our reality, which we talked about earlier, being able to project into. So it's merely an effect of our creation. So there is indeed a point in changing your thoughts about the world. So here we are changing the cause. The effect will just change automatically.
Okay.
Because we are the cause, the effect is our reality.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to change the world. It is incapable of change because the world is merely an effect of the cause, and the cause is the mind.
It's a reflection of our creation.
Okay. We're just reading.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world you see is a vengeful world, and everything in it is a symbol of vengeance. Each of your perceptions of external reality is a pictorial representation of your own attack thoughts. One can well ask if this can be called seeing. Is not fantasy a better word for such a process, and hallucination a more appropriate term for the result? We might want to not go into too much talking. I think you've got to go.
Yeah.
But anything there important?
No, I think that that's okay because, like, I mean, if anybody's into, psycho expansion, I mean, they only go down that route, like, it's being used as a fact that the hallucination or the process of it not being a fantasy, hallucination or like a psychoactive in a sense, it's your creation, it's your reality, you're literally like creating it,
So if you don't like what you're creating, we need to go within, change the mind, and out-project something different.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we see that the world that we have made, but we do not see ourselves as the image maker. We cannot be saved from the world, but we can escape from the cause. This is what salvation means. For where is the world that we see when the cause is gone?
Mm.
So what is it the world we see when the cause is gone? Vision already holds a replacement for everything that we think that we see now. Loveliness can light our images and transform them to where we will love them, even though they were made of hate or attack thoughts, for we will not be making them alone.
Okay. So once we really start to fully see that the world isn't happening to us and we're actually happening to it, and we are the image maker, loveliness is going to light all our images and transform everything.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Number 5, the idea for today introduces the thought that you are not trapped in the world you see, because its cause can be changed. This change requires first that the cause be identified and then let go so that it can be replaced. The first 2 steps in this process require your cooperation. The final one does not. Your images have already been replaced. That's good news. By taking the first 2 steps, you will see that this is so. Continue. He's telling us what to do for the daily lesson here. So for the idea for today, you're number 6.
So while we say these, imagine also with these being said, again, projecting into the reality of while saying these mantras for the day, the lesson of how to teach us these ways of thinking, imagine being actually getting into that reality and embodying that, because that's how we're going to get rid of these attack thoughts and be able to embody the love. So besides using it throughout the day as the need arises, 5 practice periods are required in replying to today's idea. So to apply it to our reality, to embody our reality, as we look about ourselves, repeat this idea to ourselves, and then close our eyes and devote about a minute to searching our minds for as many attack thoughts that occur to us. As each one crosses our mind, say, I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about my addictions. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about my families. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about myself. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about creations in different time, and I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts about